Hello, and welcome to Why Wasn't It Better? I'm your host, Patrick Darms.
And I'm your co-host, Anton Paras.
On this episode, we're diving into one of the strangest animated hits of the 2000s, Shark Tale. This is a movie that on paper should have worked. We had a massive voice cast: Will Smith, Robert De Niro, Angelina Jolie, Jack Black, Martin Scorsese, and a prime release window coming from DreamWorks Animation at a time when they were trying and succeeding at going toe-to-toe with Pixar. And yet, something's off. Because Shark Tale isn't just a movie, it's a time capsule, a bizarre, hyper-stylized, celebrity-saturated early 2000s fever dream where every fish looks like the actor voicing them, the ocean is somehow just New York City, and the entire story feels as if it were reverse engineered around pop culture references that were already dated by the time the movie hit theaters. This is DreamWorks at its most DreamWorks, loud, ironic, desperate to be cool. But here's the thing, it was a hit. It made money. It got an Oscar nomination for Best Animated Feature. And for a moment, it looked like it was a real challenge to Pixar's dominance. So why doesn't anyone talk about it anymore? Well, we're here to talk about it. And here to talk about it with us is a most welcome return guest, Nathan Perry.
Nathan.
Hey, glad to be here, guys. Very excited to be talking about the thing no one talks about.
Yeah, I volunteered you for
Tale.
this.
You did, and I couldn't have been happier after watching this film.
Really?
Nathan, we were just talking about how do we make a Universal Studios trip happen the next time my family and I come down. And we know there's going to be a lot of Minions. Do you think we're going to see any Shark Tale at Universal?
Dang. Well, and there is Shrek at Universal.
There is Shrek at Universal. There really is.
There is actual DreamWorks. I don't know if they've opened up the How to Train Your Dragon land. That's DreamWorks.
They did.
Right?
They did in Orlando. Yeah.
Okay, but they didn't at the Los Angeles one.
I don't think so. But there is Boss Baby.
There's Boss Baby. Dang. Dang. So you don't think they're gonna? I don't know if they're gonna bring out all the famous Shark Tale characters. There might be some pins though. You know the big Universal Studios pin collecting culture.
Right. It's all over the news. I'd love it if the trash cans all look like Oscar, and Oscar's mouth is what you put your trash in.
It would fit, wouldn't it?
Cool. I think that'd be good.
Just a Will Smith-ish looking trash can.
And by the way, we have to have the very realistic teeth around the mouth of the trash can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's got to have the teeth. That's very important.
Creepy teeth, would you say?
Haunting teeth.
Haunting. Yeah. This upscaled in 4K, or I don't know if this was proper 4K. Did you guys watch this on Disney Plus via Hulu?
I did see it. I did see it via Hulu, Disney Plus via Hulu. I got jump scared a little bit in this film.
By the commercials?
It was the seal.
Katie Couric?
The seal that came in.
Oh, I got jump scared by a bunch of things. Katie Couric was one of them. Katie Couric.
Katie Couric, yes.
Yeah.
Everyone gets that reference, right?
Dude,
I actually watched it on a DVD. We pulled out the old DVD.
Wow, you had this on DVD?
My wife has, I think, every animated film made by any company before the year 2008 or something like that. So yes, we do have.
Oh yeah, sure. Blame your wife.
She has Ghost in the Shell 2: Innocence.
Damn, you got me. You got me.
Does she have all the other DreamWorks classics? Over the Hedge, Flushed Away.
I'm pretty sure they're in there somewhere. For a while, we thought we didn't have Megamind. Then we found out we had Megamind.
Oh, so, thank goodness!
Thank goodness.
I'm a big Megamind fan. So
man, what if we had watched Megamind?
We could do it.
Good vibe.
If you want to show up for that, we could do it.
No, I mean, could we do it right now? But maybe I didn't get as jump scared because the DVD, it just felt more appropriate at DVD resolution.
That would make sense because this is a pretty ugly movie. It's one of those movies. Not everything looks better in high def.
Yeah, at some point it was made for 2004 and DVD.
It sure was.
So I'll say maybe that's the issue. Maybe that's part of the issue. Maybe you have to experience it in DVD.
Well, if you want to buy me a copy and send it to me,
I'll forward it along. I'll continue with the details, and I'm going to look up on the side how much a Shark Tale.
Let me
if we find it in 4K, Pat, I'm going to gift you one personally to celebrate a tuna history month.
Okay. Sorry.
Please don't.
We'll continue.
Can you imagine buying this on Steelbook? Like, I got Shark Tale.
A Steelbook Shark Tale.
Shark Tale DVD off Amazon, $5.
It comes with a scratch and it comes with scratch and sniff stickers.
You can either get the 2005 or the 2018 release of it for $5.
Bonus features?
I don't know. Anyway,
I'll intro this for us.
Please.
It was released on October 1st, 2004 by DreamWorks Animation, directed by Vicky Jensen, Bebo Bergeron, and Bob Letterman. Why isn't his name just Bilbo? That seems like it would be much more of a natural fit. Screenplay was written by Michael J. Wilson and Rob Letterman, featuring the voices of Will Smith, Robert De Niro, who the fuck is Renee Zellweger, Angelina Jolie, Jack Black, and Martin Scorsese. The budget is $75 million. That is $130 million adjusted for inflation. And the box office was $374 million. That is $647 million adjusted for inflation. 35% Rotten Tomatoes score. Anton, why did we choose Shark Tale?
Well, we've covered a lot of animation on the show now, and it's just a bit of tradition. But DreamWorks is a bit of a case study on its own. And you mentioned it. This was a pretty big budget DreamWorks film at the time.
It was. It was not the highest profile DreamWorks animated feature of 2004, not even close. That, of course, would be Shrek 2. But I think that speaks to just the power that DreamWorks had in the early and mid 2000s, right? They really were competing with Disney and Pixar. They had some early misses. You know, the Ants, The Prince of Egypt was a critical darling, but it didn't make a lot of money. They really did some great stuff that just wasn't as financially successful as it should have been. Like The Road to El Dorado and Spirit, Stallion and the Cimarron, I think are great movies. And then, of course, but what really put them on the map was Shrek. And they started to branch out. We get this movie, Shark Tale. Will Smith is absolutely huge at the time, probably the biggest male movie star in the world. I don't think that's a hot take to say in 2004.
No.
But of course, DreamWorks still, whatever they did that was too similar to something that Disney/Pixar did, it was seen as like a knockoff. Shrek was the exception, right? Shrek lived above everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Nathan, I know you didn't see this when it came out. I basically shanghaied you into doing this episode.
Yes, that's the exact statement. We're going to stand by it. I was pressed into service.
There you go. A nautical man, I see. You understand.
Yes,
yeah, you see where I was going with that.
I know what you're going for. Fits, move, water.
Yeah, water,
ocean, mafia, exactly.
Anton, did you see this in the theater?
I did see this in the theater.
What'd you
No other
think?
memories.
no other memories.
I can't remember that time. I don't know what that means about this movie. No, I do remember going to see Shark Tale. Of the DreamWorks films I saw that year, that was personally my least favorite, but I don't remember hating it as a kid.
I know what you mean, because I saw this probably whenever this hit DVD or whatever, and I didn't remember anything about it other than like it just felt like a Finding Nemo knockoff, and Will Smith was in it, and it didn't make any impact with me. But also, probably worth pointing out, I was 16 going on 17, definitely not the target demographic for this.
Well, I was about 13, 14 at the time, and I remember even at that age, young Anton thinking, well, this doesn't have the emotional depth of Shrek 2.
It doesn't.
Which it doesn't.
It does not.
Nope, it doesn't.
And yet it was a success, despite a pretty bad critic score. It more than made its money back. It got nominated at the Oscars for Best Animated Feature, although it must have been slim pickings that year. Thankfully, The Incredibles won. The right film won. And Anton, I know that maybe wounds you slightly. As much as you like Shrek 2, and I do too, I love Shrek 2, I think The Incredibles deserve that award.
Yeah, I think The Incredibles did deserve it, but there was other films that probably could have taken that slot. Howl's Moving Castle was a big one.
That didn't get nominated?
That did not get nominated.
And this did?
And this did. Which is insane. Of course, I already mentioned Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence, and I actually really like that one.
I like it too. There was no way the Academy was going to nominate that.
No, so Howl's Moving Castle definitely was personally not included in the film. That was a deliberate choice, I'm guessing.
Home on the Range, not nominated.
That makes sense.
Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie Pyramid of Light, not nominated.
Not only not nominated, it's the reason why Yu-Gi-Oh! Is now banned at the Academy Awards. Not just the movie, all TCG.
Yu-Gi-Oh! And Will Smith banned at the Academy Awards.
It's a short list, but it's a very specific list.
Yes.
Now, my question for you both is, so you can watch this film on Disney Plus via Hulu. How much do you think that infuriates Jeffrey Katzenberg?
I'm sure it's slightly hilarious.
I'm sure
it makes
he
him
cries
mad.
himself and he dries his eyes with the dollar bills that he has to, try to keep himself happy.
Probably doesn't infuriate him that much. I think he is a billionaire now, so he's probably good.
If he had to sleep on a race car bed with a comforter or with a bed cover from one of his billion-dollar franchises, which one do you think he picks?
It's Shrek, only the successful franchises.
I mean, How to Train Your Dragon is also DreamWorks. That's making him billions.
I hear he's a fan of Trolls.
Oh, okay.
Well, the reason why I would say Shrek and not How to Train Your Dragon is how involved was he with How to Train Your Dragon? Because Shrek was like his baby.
That's true. That's true.
That's fair. He put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into Shrek.
No, that's a good call. So, yep, the Shrek's in the race car bed. How to Train Your Dragon, probably just posters in one of his mansions.
Got it.
Right. As he should. We love Jeffrey Katzenberg. I know people clown on him, but he's really. I think the positives outweigh the negatives with him.
I think the man knows quality.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get to the production history, it's time for everyone's most unnecessarily favorite part of the podcast, the 6 Degrees of Warren Beatty's sex life, which is our prevailing theory that no matter how obscure, all films can be tied back to Warren Beatty. Anton, this one's pretty straightforward. Robert De Niro to Diane Keaton to Beatty. De Niro and Keaton, of course, were both in The Godfather Part 2, and Warren Beatty and Diane Keaton dated for several years.
That's a pretty quick one. We could have also gone through Scorsese.
You could have. That's true.
Yeah. And that would have been at least...
I usually try to do the least amount of separation.
Yeah.
Least amount of degrees of whatever separation.
And as far as I know, I don't think Scorsese and Warren Beatty hooked up. So
I don't believe so. You want to talk about obscure... I wonder if anyone would ever get this right on Jeopardy. It's like, what animated film did Martin Scorsese lend his voice to? It's like...
This one, by the way,
people will know that.
The only animated film he's lent his voice to.
Can you blame him? He probably watched this and was like, well, it was worth it for the money.
But why did he think to even do it in the first place, right?
Money. They cut him a check.
Right.
They showed up at his house with a $2 million check and just handed to him. Like,
do you think it was
show
still
up
like
for 3 days and do some voice
recording? The
recording?
animated movie was still a new enough thing that he was like, yeah, sure, my grandkids love it or whatever. Like,
I'm sure they leveraged that they had De Niro. They were probably like, De Niro's doing it. Do you want to do a movie with De Niro? And he was like, sure.
He's like, okay.
How much money are you going to pay me? That's what I would have asked if I were him.
And then this is the film that directly influenced The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. You know what?
In some ways, yes.
I see it.
Oscar, Jordan Belfort.
Our unlikable main character goes through a journey of self-destruction.
And debauchery. So you're saying this film script originally had an orgy in First Class?
And Quaaludes. All
That was
during
one
the
of the
car
deleted
wash scene.
scenes. they take Quaaludes. Him and what's Scorsese's character's name?
Was it Sharky? No,
It's not Mr. Crab.
No, it's
What's
something.
his name? Does it even matter?
I don't think so.
I can't even remember the characters' names. This is bad. Sykes. You know what I forgot about this? I remembered Scorsese having a cameo. He's like one of the biggest characters in the film.
Yeah. He's like a baby character.
It's ridiculous.
He's a boss, and then he's also a talent manager.
Yes.
Yeah. And then
He
they later
stays
just
in.
become business partners for
Yeah.
a reason.
For some reason. And then he comes out, his last scene is him in a pimp hat. It's 2004, baby.
It's real 2004.
You know what? Shouts out Michael Imperioli in the cast.
Yeah, he sure is, Christopher. I'm sorry, T.
I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's jump into this production.
Yeah, let's do the production history. So they first conceived this story in 2001. Mark Swift and Damian Shannon, a writer-producer duo. They would later make their mark in the horror genre. They would go on to write Freddy vs. Jason and the 2009 Friday the 13th reboot. So children's animation didn't work out for them. They tried something else. Good for them. The film was originally titled Shark Slayer. Swift and Shannon's story concept was worked into a screenplay written by Michael J. Wilson. By September of 2003, after Finding Nemo came out, coincidentally enough, DreamWorks changed the title to Shark Tale in order to make it sound less violent and more family-friendly. Producer Bill Damashki explained the change as, quote, "In the beginning, we set out to make a movie a little more noir, perhaps a little darker than where we've landed," end quote. Shark Tale would be the first computer animated film produced at DreamWorks' Glendale facility, as well as their first computer animated film not to be produced by Pacific Data Images. Very early on, they made the decision to base the movie around the involvement of Will Smith. So they were getting him to do this.
They were getting him to do this, and they said, let's really Will Smith it up. Like, hey, now that he's involved, let's just lean into that Will Smith characterization. Let's just make it a little more urban.
You said characterization. For a second, I thought you said character is Asian, and I got confused. I was like, what? But yeah, that makes more sense what you said. They definitely wanted Will Smith to be hip and cool. That's definitely,
They probably added quite a bit of hip and cool because, we got Will Smith. He's the hip and cool guy.
Hip and cool in 2004. That is worth pointing out. No longer. Here's your Christopher connection, Anton. James Gandolfini was originally going to voice Don Lino, but he was replaced by Robert De Niro. Anthony Anderson was cast as a sperm whale, but the role's suggestive dialogue got his character cut down, or just completely out because he's not in the film. Hans Zimmer ended up scoring this because he wanted a change of pace from the big epic action movies, and he sought to work on another animated movie, having already done so for The Prince of Egypt and Spirits, Diana the Cimarron. So he had a good working relationship with DreamWorks already. He would continue this relationship. He would score the Madagascar and Kung Fu Panda series. And I have to say, in the grand and totality of all of Hans Zimmer's great works, Kung Fu Panda is a highlight for me. It's got great music. Not that has anything to do with Shark Tale, but
I love
if you're looking for if you're looking for a less famous Zimmer score to listen to, check out Kung Fu Panda.
No, very good. I agree.
I don't know if the quality of the films improve, but
Kung Fu Panda is better than this.
No, it's true. Sure. I'm just saying the first one is my favorite, and then the rest of them, it's like,
they're better than this.
That's true.
Well, great. I'm so excited to continue talking about this movie.
I know.
Let's go.
You want to finish this, Anton?
Where am I at? Hilarious IMDb trivia bit. Well, as I foreshadowed, we have a hilarious IMDb trivia bit. Christina Aguilera was really amped about covering Car Wash, which there's no other way to tie this movie in with a trailer than a Christina Aguilera cover of Car Wash.
Who wasn't excited for this in 2004?
So, expected prior to the film's release, comparisons were made to Finding Nemo, which had been released in May of the previous year. Jeffrey Katzenberg defended the film, saying that, quote, "any similarities are mere coincidence. We've been open with the Pixar people, so we don't step on each other's toes, end quote.
Yeah. I would maybe
And-
buy that if he hadn't already done this in 1998 with Ants, which they literally made out of spite.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call shenanigans there. I mean, to be fair, very different movies, but come on, it was that close to an underwater film. It had to be pretty on the nose.
I mean, one of them made $900 million and the other one made a third of that. So yes, very different movies.
And they both got nominated.
They did. Did
So,
Finding Nemo win?
don't quote me, I don't know.
Well, can Nathan, can you confirm that for us?
Yeah, Nathan, can you
One
pull
in
that up on the screen?
2003. Yeah, I gotcha. Academy
Anton, keep going.
Award.
Yep. So Don Feinberg, voiced by Peter Falk, was originally called Don Brizzi. Bowing to pressure from the Italic Institute of America, an organization protesting Hollywood's stereotyping of Italians as mobsters and gangsters, DreamWorks agreed to change the name of the character to Don Feinberg just before release. That's nice.
Do they even name him in the movie?
I don't
think
remember.
they do. I think there's a brief line from Robert De Niro's character where he's like,
Okay.
"Thank you, Don Feinberg."
So did you say Finding Nemo did not win?
Finding Nemo did not win 2003. Spirited Away.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Got it.
Okay.
The American Family Association, a Christian conservative organization, raised concerns about this movie, suggesting that it was designed to promote the acceptance of gay rights by children, primarily by having Lenny Lino, who is a vegetarian shark, and his struggles, as an allegory for the struggles gay men go through with their homosexuality. Burger King featured 10 different Shark Tale action figures within its kids' meals.
Finding Nemo
All right.
did win.
Breaking news. I read something wrong. It did win. Spirited Away was 2002.
But it
Finding
won
Nemo.
at the 2003 award ceremony,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And the competition for Finding Nemo was Brother Bear and the Triplets of Belleville.
I remember the Triplets of Belleville. That's a
Cool movie.
Yeah, cool.
It's on
art
HBO
house.
Max.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
great music.
Yeah. Pretty cool movie. Alrighty. We want to thank everyone for listening as always. If you like the pod, follow or subscribe. We encourage you to leave comments wherever you're listening or watching. A nice review or rating would be good as well. We're on Instagram, X, and best of all, Letterboxd. You can see our full list of films there. And if you really like what we are doing and you want to throw a few bucks our way, we do have a Patreon. Links to everything are in the description. All right, Nathan, Anton, let's talk why wasn't it better for Shark Tale. Number one, the opening. So this made good money. You can't call it a failure. It might have just been a timing thing about like when they finished this. I'm just shocked this wasn't released during the summer. Now, it made good money, so you can't say necessarily that there was a box office effect on this. Just doesn't seem like an October movie to me.
Do you think they did that to try to not overrun, to put it too closely to Shrek 2? Do you think it was a scheduling thing? They didn't want to have to put it to, that's May. What else was coming out that year?
Well, you have a
you
have a lot of competition with SpongeBob SquarePants, the movie. That's in November.
Interesting.
That's in November. Incredibles is late October.
Right.
I don't know if they're trying to put it there in order to try to.
That might be the answer. They're like, let's try to
like,
compete against the Pixar movie. Just when I think of like ocean and fish and stuff, it's like just summer movie. What are you doing?
Yeah, especially the car wash scene. That's very summer.
It definitely has a very summer feel. I agree,
but instead we get Garfield over the summer.
Right, starring Bill Murray.
With Bill Murray.
Right.
Who
literally phoned that in.
Yes, he did.
He literally recorded his voice work over the phone.
Hey,
what a gem!
Amazing movie magic.
Yeah, while he was filming The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, Nathan, he literally phoned in Garfield.
I've not heard that specific thing, but it is known that he definitely was like not into it.
You can picture Bill Murray too in the negotiation. Like, oh, will you be so? Like, when can you show up to the voice recording studio? Oh, I won't be.
I'm gonna phone it in, and you have to mail me lasagna.
2004. What
Man,
a year.
2004, just so much going on. All right. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. I guess
I think we can move on. That's not really much
obviously
of a reason. I'm sorry for that.
No, it's okay. It's one of those things where you're right in that release timing and strategy and opening has a lot to do about how much money a movie makes or doesn't make. I just don't have enough context for. I can only guess at why they pushed it out to October, or if that even really affected it. But it probably, in part, I'll say this: I definitely, in looking at this a little bit, it was interesting how the huge success of Shrek 2 made it that they started trying to also kind of leverage Shrek 2 to market or tie it to Shark Tale. So maybe they also were like, let's make sure that we have enough time to apply the Shrek 2 leverage to Shark Tale. But I don't know if it got like moved by months or something. Anyway.
Because Shrek 2 made almost $1 billion, right?
Made a lot of. It's still, I think, DreamWorks' biggest movie.
It's their biggest hit. Almost made $1 billion.
That makes sense. Was it the biggest movie of 2004?
Yes.
It had to be, right?
So freaking good.
Of 2004.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And was the highest grossing animated film until like for a couple years after. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think all things considered, they probably did the best they could with this release window because, frankly, this movie made more money than it should have, considering how bad.
Well, they could have released it during Tuna History Month, which, by the way, like, I want you to guess which month that was. I'm not going to say it. No one's going to say it. But listeners, guess which month is Tuna History Month.
Did they do a Shark Week tie-in?
That would have been funny.
Did they have Shark Week in 2004? Was that a thing then?
It must be. That sounds like something that would be tied to like cable television.
Right.
Wow.
The Discovery Channel.
Okay. Guess on what year was the first Shark Week?
Was it 2004?
No. Earlier.
1996.
2003?
Earlier.
1975.
Later.
With Jaws. Okay.
1988.
Yes. 1988 was the first Shark Week.
Cool.
I thought,
wow.
That's like way
and
earlier.
And the Year of the Dragon. Coincidence? Probably. Next reason why this wasn't better, the voice cast and the performances. You know, on paper, this is a incredibly impressive array of celebrities in a film. I came away from this completely unimpressed by the vocal performances.
I mean, we had a long list, right? We had Katie Current, Russell Crowe, Jessica Shrimpson, Cod Stewart, Seal. Such a list.
Yeah.
Such a legendary list.
Well, Anton, this is a point you've made a lot, Anton, which is, other than Jack Black, are any of the cast voice actors?
They are not.
No. And just packing it with celebrity voice actors is not a recipe for success.
Unless you're the first Super Mario movie.
Okay, unless you're the first Super Mario movie. Well, they've learned by 2022 or whatever, they learned how to do a celebrity voice cast animated film. At this point, they just hadn't learned it. They hadn't figured it out. They hadn't figured it out yet, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I figured they would have learned with the success from Shrek, because that did have some pretty big stars, how to leverage actors that definitely do have strengths in voice acting. But this was definitely in the realm of, let's put some stars with big names in the film to bring them in.
Yes. You're not picking like really strong, for the most part, I think really strong comedy, right? If you want to lean towards comedy, you're not picking strong comedy voice actors. Or even people with iconic voices, but really just iconic or just famous actors.
Yeah. To me, Angelina Jolie's character really could have been voiced by anyone.
Yeah,
I didn't even recognize it as her voice. I had no idea.
I thought it was Jessica Rabbit the whole time.
I actually wasn't sure for same thing with Renee Zellweger, whoever that is. I was not sure which character was voiced by which. I kept mixing up their two voices because they're both they don't have memorable voices. The shock for me though was Will Smith, because on paper you'd think he would be a good voice actor. But then I thought about this a little bit more. It really is a waste of his talent. He is a really great, I think, physical actor. I don't find his voice particularly memorable. Now, obviously, he has a recognizable enough voice that you know he's voicing the main character, and of course, they animated his character to look creepily like him. But it's the opposite of Eddie Murphy, because Eddie Murphy is the full package, right? He can do all the physical acting and make it funny, but his voice is one of his talents. So even when you don't see Murphy physically on screen, you're still getting the full effect of his performance. And also, Eddie Murphy did not get into voice acting until he was in a much different part of his career. He wasn't doing voice acting in the 80s when he was at his peak.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think he learned his lesson because he didn't enter voice work again until 2019 in a very unsuccessful film called Spies in Disguise.
Is this Will Smith? I have never even heard of that.
The main character is I remember the main character is a spy. It's Will Smith, and somehow he turns into a pigeon.
You're not making this up. This is a real thing.
Nope. That's very real.
Oh, and Tom Holland. I'm seeing Will Smith and Tom Holland. There you go. Spider-Man.
And Will Smith's character becomes a pigeon.
Wow.
I'm not even kidding.
Dream
All
team.
right. So we know what movie you're doing next time.
Boss Baby.
Spies in Disguise. Okay.
Megamind?
No, I agree. I agree with you. I mean, I think that, and you can clearly see they're trying to animate Will Smith's physicality into the character, doing a bunch of stuff. And clearly they put a lot, right? They put a lot into trying to make Will Smith be a fish.
Well, they really banked on Will Smith's voice to carry a lot of the exposition and a lot of course, the dialogue, because that's where you're going to be able to cash in on his voice. But I feel like it was just so heavy-handed. At one scene, you actually hear Will Smith speaking to no one, talking about what he's doing. All right, here I am at the racetrack with my money.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Man, that was the hardest.
I forgot about
scene.
that.
Just to zoom in, that was like the hardest scene, I feel like. That was the point where I was like, I'm not really sure what I'm watching right now.
But it makes sense from the studio if they're thinking, well, we got to have Will Smith say stuff. And if he's not saying stuff, people don't know what's going on.
Hey, if we're paying him this much, if we're not paying him by the line, then we better milk it for everything we got.
Because the plot of this movie is about as stupid as it gets.
Yeah, I mean, going through more of that cast, though, I mean, I do have to say, like, I enjoyed Jack Black. I think Jack Black did a decent job.
He's a great voice actor.
Yeah,
because he's not doing his own voice. He's doing
he's
voice.
Doing a character. It's funny because Jack Black now, very hard to escape from being just Jack Black, right? It's, I think, a lot harder for him to be like something that isn't. I didn't even know it was Jack Black. My wife had to point it out. Oh, that's Jack Black's character. I thought it was like someone else. And I was like, oh.
That's the best kind of vocal performance where you can kind of disappear into the role.
Yeah, exactly.
Think about Finding Nemo. You're not thinking about Albert Brooks or Ellen DeGeneres. You're thinking about Marlon and Dory.
Sure. Yeah.
The performances serve the characters. Here, it's just the opposite. They were just building characters around the actors. Like, well, we'll just get Robert De Niro in the movie. He'll just do Robert De Niro. We'll get Martin Scorsese. It'll be funny.
No, I agree. I think very much it wasn't, what are these characters? It was, who do we have? How do we craft? I think that's excellent. How do we craft a character out of who we got hired, right? And it definitely makes it. It also, like, everybody just sounds like themselves, right? As we said, Jack Black's the only one doing a character. Everyone else is just reading their lines.
Lenny is the only character in the film with any kind of personality. Oscar is just a straight up loser. Everyone else is just kind of a literally stereotype. I mean, they were literally going for stereotypes in the characters.
Yeah,
the jellyfish was pretty.
They did do that. The
weird.
Jellyfish.
I don't know if they do that now.
I don't.
You know what this movie needed, Anton?
What?
Nemoidians.
Ah, yes. Then you can't pinpoint where they're from because they're Nemoidian.
I want droid because up here at once.
But you know who was in this film? Italians.
Italians. Italians were in this film.
You knew that because of Hans Zimmer's score, which emphasized that whenever they were on screen.
Right, whenever Don Lino came on screen, or
I
whenever
wouldn't have known otherwise.
No, there would have been no way to tell.
Yeah.
You know what? This actually made me like quite depressed to read this trivia bit. This was Robert De Niro's highest grossing film until Joker.
Wow.
doing the face.
Right? Like it's just
It's funny how these animated films like do really well for some actors in the way that they just like, this is the movie that made the most money that I was in. I think there's one or two other ones that I read recently, like
Or Jack Black with Kung Fu Panda. I think that's
Jack
literally
Black, Kung
is
Fu
his
Panda.
biggest.
Like Will
Yeah.
Ferrell's
That makes
biggest
sense.
movie. Will Ferrell's biggest movie was like Megamind or something like that.
was it really? Yeah, I guess it might have been.
Yeah.
But if you
Yeah.
asked me that as a like bar trivia question, what was Robert De Niro's highest grossing film prior to Joker? I never. You could have given me 100 guesses, and I never would have guessed this.
Yeah.
Wasn't Goodfellas.
No, I would have said something like Midnight Run. You know what I mean? Or no, I would have said Meet the Parents or something like that. You know?
Yeah, that would make right.
But no, Shark Tale. All right, let's talk next reason why this wasn't better. Story, tone, writing. This film starts off with the studio logo, the DreamWorks Cupid or whatever, playing a part in the opening of the story.
The kids fishing.
Stupid. Don't like it.
The Pat Darms. Stupid. Don't like
This movie, it just started off for me. I'm like,
You already know.
don't like it.
You already know it's stupid.
I don't mind it.
Like it.
I don't mind it. Just saying that out there. Anton doesn't mind it.
How did Anton feel about not even 30 seconds into this film and they're using the theme to Jaws?
They have access to it.
Not
I'm a boo on
even
that one.
30 seconds in, and we're being reminded of a better film.
I don't mind tying the studio logo in. I think that can be a little cute. Jaws being 30 seconds in, and then within 1.5 minutes, they're acknowledging the fact that the characters are openly fourth wall, like, we're humming the Jaws theme ourselves. It's our theme.
It's really funny.
Like, the thing is, Anton, I don't think it's really funny.
So I think, for us, it's probably not really funny. This kind of humor really does well with kids in like an ironic way. You know how popular the humor in this film is considered like so bad that people like it ironically, and it's such a meme because of it.
Is there a big like internet meme like nostalgia for Shark Tale?
Yes, it's like all over TikTok. People still buy merchandise off of the shrimp and his whole like speech.
Like the shrimp who's like, "Oh, my family. Oh, I lost
my sister had a baby and I took it over after she passed away."
It's interesting how social media experiences can shape one's
I don't like it.
version of this, because I just assumed this movie was completely forgotten. I've never heard anyone talk about this movie, really.
If you look up Shark Tale memes, like there's still videos being released in 2026 that are getting millions of views.
Baffling. I mean, it made money. It was popular enough.
But for different reasons, right? Like at the time, it was more of it's a kid's movie.
Oh, Will Smith's in it.
Yeah.
Oh, you know.
Yeah, but now it's like the popularity is like, this is so bad. Let's laugh at this.
My problem with the Jaws thing is I get why you'd want to put that in a movie called Shark Tale, right? Like at some point you're like, well, let's just include the Jaws theme. But like doing it not even a minute into the film, it's like, can you just establish your own identity first before you just start ripping off other movies?
It's already a movie that is just a combination of other things.
Right. Like what's the word for this? Like kitschy for it?
I think that works.
No identity of its own. We talked about some of the stereotypes. Well, this is one of the things I want to point out. Roger Ebert hammered this film for it in his review. It's referencing a lot of things that young kids aren't going to get. And he summed it up perfectly, as he always tends to. Quote, since the target audience for Shark Tale is presumably kids and younger teenagers, how many of them have seen The Godfather? Who will get all the inside jokes? Not a few, I suppose, and some of its characters and dialogue have passed into common knowledge. But it's strange that a kid-oriented film would be based on parody of a 1972 gangster movie for adults. End quote.
It's why some of the voice acting decisions just don't even make sense. Why do you have Michael Imperioli? that's going to be entertaining for people that watch The Sopranos, which are adults? Why do you have Vincent Pastore voice a character in the film? Again, it's only if you watch The Sopranos.
They were just really banking on the parents taking the kids and liking it, I guess.
You know how kids love hearing Martin Scorsese say stuff, right?
At least he has a distinct enough voice that I kind of enjoyed his performance.
He does. I actually don't hate seeing Martin Scorsese in this movie. It just makes me laugh every single time.
Yeah,
it's one of the stranger casting decisions I think ever.
Yeah. Yes.
Because he does do acting, but not like I just wouldn't have thought he would have done something like this.
Not as big a thing, right? You could see him doing a little bit part in an animated movie for a second, but not like an extended. Anyway, no, I agree. I think it's just really weird tonally in terms of like not just that, but even the plot. The plot is like a kind of losery guy gets in with the mob, but not really. It's a little bit layered because he's not in with the mob. He is in with like a guy who's in with the mob. So also you're trying to like keep track of a couple different character relationships. It's very just weird.
Yeah. It's a really good point. He doesn't really get in with the mob. Like he gets involved with Sykes, who's his boss, and is kind of a loan shark.
Sykes is in with the mob, but it's not very clear what Sykes you see has a relationship with the mob, but it's like, and then Sykes is taking out stuff on Oscar, and he's got his two Jamaican hitmen
heavies.
Yeah,
it's really
enforcers.
Enforcers, that's better. More not hitmen, enforcers. It's just, even that is just weird. The racetrack.
I remember two things about the Sykes character. Number one, I just remembered it being a cameo. I didn't remember him being one of the three biggest characters in the film, or four biggest, whatever. And number two, I thought he was a mafia boss, and I'm like, wait, he just runs the car wash. Like
he runs the car wash.
So he runs the car wash. You can assume because of his dealings that the car wash is a front for money laundering.
Oh, completely. But he's not in the mafia, right? Even though he has enforcers working for him.
He's just a loan shark.
Yeah, sort of. But he's not a shark.
Right.
He's
a lone puffer fish.
And then, of course, Oscar gets involved with the mob boss's son. So he gets mixed up with the mob in that way anyway.
Right.
It is a weird roundabout way. They probably could have gotten to point B a lot smoother.
Yeah.
I didn't know where the best spot for this was, but one thought that I walked away from this movie was, what if this was live action and punched up to PG-13? So you get rid of have the same actors, punch up the dialogue, punch it up to PG-13 a little bit, and just drop ocean.
Real sharks?
Real sharks. No, I mean, obviously you basically just do what they were writing, which is a mob story, something. Is that better or more memorable? I don't know if it'd be memorable. It'd probably be a forgotten movie from 2004 that had all of these people in it and didn't make any money. But it's like, the weird thing is like you could kind of do that. And the fact that they're all fish doesn't mean anything to the context of the movie at all.
Well, minus the live action piece, that is apparently what this was originally intended as a PG-13 film noir-ish movie. And I read, I don't know if this is true or not. I wasn't able to confirm this, but I did read Katzenberg didn't like that serious angle and fired the original writers. Who came up with the story concept, and he wanted to go for something more like SpongeBob.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because there's a lot of similarities to, of course, there's a lot of inspiration drawn from Scorsese films in this. You can see a lot around either the main character's like plight or even just like the character dynamics. I see a lot of parallels in like Casino, but I do think that if this was more of like a live action PG-13 film, I think it doesn't have enough on its legs to be like an original classic. I think it probably would have gone in the forgotten realm.
I agree. I'm not here to say like, oh, they had this. Let me be very clear. I don't say that to think that this is a brilliant plot, right, at all in any way, or is a memorable particular plot. That is like, man, it just was tied down. The vision was there, and they lost it.
Well,
I'm
don't
just
get
like,
don't get me wrong. I think have everything live action except keep Will Smith's character a fish.
I like that. Everyone's talking to Will Smith and like he's in a big fishbowl. Everyone's carrying the fishbowl around, and it's Will Smith doing his thing.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
And this is all wrapped up in what we can all agree is really one of the more dated films that we've covered on this podcast. It's so 2004. It is almost like the writers got together and decided to make the most 2004 coffin and trap this movie in it. Dated immediately. Nathan, you texted this to me the other day that this movie, I was like, oh, it's pretty dated. And you're like, it was dated then.
Yeah, it was dated. It feels like it was, I think you put in the notes here a little bit, like it's making references to things that are already like old, right? Which is like, there was another movie that I was watching recently, I cannot remember, but just was making me think of also, man, movies take so long to make that by the time they have these ideas in them, you're already behind by the time you get to a movie that's making these references. Yeah. And it's happening even here in 2004. No, totally. Like, it just is. And I think it's like trying so hard to be cool and, you know, forgive me, current, right? It's like all of these ads, right?
Oh, I get it.
You get it. All these ads, like, that are just like, it's the 2003 version of this ad or whatever, or the 2002 version of the Coca-Cola ad or something like that. That it's like, dang.
It feels old. Yeah, I love when you said
so
when you say it feels current for the time. I was wondering when you were going to say wave afterwards. No, but like I mean, even I make that joke earlier of all of the parody names of all the actors at the time that were famous, or all the personalities at the time that are famous.
Yeah,
that's very dated, and kids watching this are going to be like, "Why is this funny? What's this?"
Well, I watched this with my nieces, Anton. They weren't laughing at nearly all the jokes. They were just staring at the screen.
I'm sure the visual stuff got to them more than the actual dialogue.
My nephew, who is 4, appreciated it, but the nieces who are 8 and 10, they actually were bored.
Even when a seal came on screen,
they enjoyed some parts of it. But I when we review kids movies like this, I'll ask them like, "What'd you think of it?" They were pretty bored by this.
Mm-hmm.
They're not bored by Shrek 2. They're not bored by The Incredibles. They're not bored by Finding Nemo. And that's the thing is, if you were like asking me like what's my biggest issue with this movie, it's definitely the tone. There is no real earned moment of levity. It is holding the same beat from start to finish, where they are desperately trying to make every line, every situation, every character interaction into some kind of joke. They're trying way too hard. Yeah, it means the story is never allowed to breathe. Everything is treated as a gag. There's no subtlety to this film whatsoever. It's definitely for a kid's attention span. It's just constantly battering you. Like, you know when is it the octopus character? Like, he accidentally puts on Baby Got Back on the record player. Like, you don't have to do that. Not everything has to be a gag. Think about Finding Nemo. Yes, I'm going to keep comparing this to Finding Nemo. I don't care. There's great humor in Finding Nemo. But it's not constant gags and constant jokes.
I'd even honestly, I know that you're doing a lot of comparisons to Finding Nemo. I would actually compare this movie much more to Shrek 2, I think, more than Finding Nemo, as a celebrity, very joke-heavy, very comedy-leaning, like, animated film that is super references. We were talking before we started recording, Pat. That movie's full of like movie pop culture references, all this stuff. Like Far, Far Away is like has the Hollywood sign up in the hills. There's a the opening of Shrek 2 is a whole bunch of movie references just repeated one after another.
Great point.
And I think this honestly fits more like that more than Finding Nemo, which I think is trying to be much more earnest and whatnot. And Shrek 2 is just a comedy. It's just a comedy ride. We're doing comedy, baby. And like that movie works so well because it is able to find the right balance of having like even a pretty light, heartfelt plot, right? It's not super depthful. They're not like writing, something outstanding there, but they at least are, as you said, they're able to tone back and they don't have to do that's a movie with a lot of jokes. That's a lot of stuff every single moment. There's a gag like constantly, but it's all able to work there because they just are able to invest just enough to make you like go along with it. And they're able to actually write good jokes that aren't just, based on I don't know, they're just able to write good humor. I don't know what the difference is. That's what I've been thinking, especially the last week, this movie compared to Shrek 2. It's literally the same studio, the same. I mean, I did some research. They were two different groups.
They're different teams. Yeah. Like it's Konami. There's Team Silent and then there's Team Metal Gear Solid. Different teams.
It's 100% like Konami. I basically think of them as exactly the same type of situation. But
you're absolutely right, Nathan.
I want to say that because I think it is not fair to compare this to Finding Nemo that much because I think it's like they both are underwater. And I agree, I get where you would jump to, but like...
wait till I bring up the animation quality. I think it's very fair to compare this to Finding Nemo. And the world building. But no, you're making excellent points about Shrek 2. One thing I would say about Shrek 2, two things really quick, and then I know Anton wants to speak on this. A lot of the references in Shrek 2 hold up because I don't feel like you're being hit in the face with them. Mm-hmm. Like when you see the far, far away sign and it's Hollywood, if you don't know that it's a Hollywood thing, it's just something you can look at and appreciate. Number two, Shrek 2 does have serious moments, and they're earned. In fact, Shrek 2 has some wonderful, dramatic moments because of the characters that have been built up, to your point, and the relationships that you've already established between these characters. It's got wonderful storytelling in it.
Oh, yeah. I am very pro Shrek 2. I just also know that it's, compared to, say, Finding Nemo, it's more of a gag comedy.
It is. You're right.
Thing.
You're right.
And so this is more of a gag comedy that doesn't work because it doesn't have well-established characters. It has a bunch of actors who have a bunch of characters made to look like them and don't have any sort of chemistry or any sort of plot really tied well. And I think a big part of that is the main protagonist just is not a character that I cannot like this character in any way. I just cannot. I am not happy at the end of the movie when everything works out for him because I'm like, I don't think you really earned it, buddy. I don't think you really did anything.
I think we're on our next reason, aren't we?
We are, but one thing I want to say, I have heard people defend this movie by saying like, well, it's a kid's movie. It's supposed to be stupid. That is no excuse. I am not willing to give this movie a pass just because of that. Again, is there anything stupid in Shrek 2? I would say no.
On purpose for comedic effect.
On purpose, sure. But like, again, I'm going to bring up Finding Nemo again, Nathan. That's a kid's movie. There's not a single stupid thing in that film. So saying that this is, kids' movies are just supposed to be stupid, I don't think that's an excuse.
Those are people that don't know ball.
Right. Well, I don't think. Yeah. I think, as Anton's saying, like, this has I watch Shark Tale ironically TikTok following because it's so bad it's good. Is not this was an intentional, you need to just trust that this is a good thing, right? It's no, it's so bad it's good. I don't know if I would call this movie so bad it's good. That's a different to the side. But even people engaging with it, I don't think are saying this is unironically a good film. They're like,
I hope not. All right. You were definitely getting into the next reason, which is the character issues. Oscar, one of the worst protagonists on a film that we've ever covered.
Literally the worst. He's always selfish, just greedy, manipulative, and a bit of a liar.
Not smart, cringy.
No.
Yeah, not even funny.
Ungrateful.
Even in the quote, like when he turns around and realizes, I have a gal that loves me, feels really like completely unearned in any way whatsoever, and he has no actual growth, I think, through that, where he's like, oh, I have to actually work through this thing. He also just is like, I guess I do have a different girl who loves me. I guess I should go and do that.
And there's nothing wrong with a flawed protagonist as long as they have an arc, like Shrek.
Right.
Perfect example.
Yeah, no, it's just a very unlikable character. And I think, who's the most likable character then? Probably Jack Black's character.
Probably.
Yeah.
But he also kind of like is there, but also not there. And eventually...
He's absent from chunks of the film, though, too.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. And you can see they're trying to do a little bit of an arc with him, but...
He's the most sympathetic character, that's for sure.
It's a weird thing where it seems like it's supposed to be a buddy comedy, but I don't think it really lands in buddy comedy, because I don't think there's enough of them having to, like, work through a problem together, right? Or like, we got to lean on each other's strengths and figure this one out. We're in over our heads or something like that. So it just has so many weird, like, again, that goes back to the writing and just the weird...
None of the characters are, I mean, Lenny, I guess, is the most sympathetic, but I don't know. He's still in the mafia.
He's still in the mafia, but...
Reluctantly. Eugene Pontecorvo.
Right. Now, I think that there's really no character in the film other than... Okay, let's go Lenny, maybe Renee Zellweger's character. That's more sympathetic. But even then, she just...
It's very hard to sympathize with her because she really likes Oscar a lot.
Yeah, she's just sympathetic.
Like he is a complete loser. What is she seeing him?
This guy
she's like,
so much.
Let me sell my family heirloom so that way you can succeed.
They never gave a reason about why she likes him. They just never did anything to like try to convince you or sell you on why that.
A lot of people like Oscar, actually, in the city, right? Like, they have scenes where they show, even before he became famous, that
he's hip and cool. Well, that's a great point, Anton. Why is he so well liked by a bunch of other people?
Because he seems like a jerk.
He is a jerk. And even at the end, right, where he eventually reveals the truth, he's like, I'm not the Shark Slayer. He kind of just doesn't have a choice. It doesn't seem like he does it for an earned, character reason. And again, here's a Finding Nemo comparison for anyone who's grown tired of that. Marlin at the beginning of that film is annoyingly overprotective of his son, right? Which you could argue makes him a bit of a flawed character, right? He interferes with his son's schooling and social life, right, to the point where you're like, you need to back off, man. You're being a helicopter parent. But you understand why. And over the course of the film, he actively learns and makes the adjustment. And by the end of the film, he is no longer the same overprotective helicopter parent that he is at the beginning. He has an arc. But Oscar, nothing of the sort. He gets rewarded for his bad behavior at the end of the movie.
Which is not a good lesson for people, unless you're Jordan Belfort.
Other than the prison thing, yes. What about Lola? What do we think of her?
Lame.
Yeah, boring.
They could have given her more motivation, like if she was one of Don Breezy's whores. Hoes.
Something like that.
And she was a hoe.
She works at the Bada Bing.
How are you going to have Michael Imperioli in this film and not have him say hoe?
Or, you're weak. You're an embarrassment to the family.
I don't write nothing down. I said my piece, Chrissy. What does he say? You're weak. You're weak. He's like, you become an embarrassment to yourself and everyone around you.
Such a silly show. And by the way, two characters heavily referenced that have their characters referenced in The Sopranos. Of course, there are voices in this. We almost had James Gandolfini as our head of the family. So
I would have enjoyed him more than De Niro, I think.
I think so. I think he would have been really, really good in a voice acting role. He was great in The Sopranos video game. I'm actually not kidding. He was really good in The Sopranos video game.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we all remember that.
It's a very underrated game.
I think final thoughts on this. This movie does not have characters. It has celebrity avatars.
100%. 100%.
Last
No one
reason.
walks away from this movie going, "Oh, remember so and so. Remember Sykes." No, you say, "Remember Martin." If anyone's going to remember this movie, they're going to say, "Remember Martin Scorsese's character in."
Yeah.
Remember so and so's character in. Sure.
Yeah,
That's why you think about Pixar. Like, as famous as Tom Hanks is, you think of Woody, the character. I don't immediately think of Tom Hanks.
DreamWorks figures it out though eventually.
They do.
Eventually.
Because I mean, I don't think of Steve Carell. I think of Gru. So
that's a different.
Because he's not doing his normal voice.
Studio.
He's doing a character.
Is that Illumination?
That's Illumination.
Oh shoot, you're right. That's not DreamWorks.
That's Illumination. But frankly, it already existed. I don't think of Mike Myers. I know it's hard to escape Mike Myers from Shrek, but I also just think Shrek.
I don't think of.
I
don't
agree.
think of that. I think of Fat Bastard whenever I hear.
I mean, fair enough.
There are all these lines that I'm thinking. Did Shrek say that, or did Fat Bastard say that? It's a baby.
The other white meat.
Maybe that is a bad example, but
no. I mean, I know what you're saying. Even Eddie Murphy's character, yes, it's identifiable instantly as Eddie Murphy's voice.
Mm-hmm.
But if you actually sit back and think about it, and you listen to Eddie Murphy giving an interview, he is doing a different voice. That is not his natural speaking voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Celebrity avatars. All right, last reason, which is the world building.
Mm-hmm.
And the like visual design, true uncanny valley stuff to animate some of the characters like their respective voice actors.
What was the creepiest aspect for you guys? Honestly, for me, it was the teeth were just so prominent. It was too much, I think.
I was creeped out before I even put the movie on, and you just see in like the posters and the promo material for this, it's Oscar like,
yep,
and it's just you're like, oh, okay.
There's a lot of scenes where I don't know how they. I mean, I'm just guessing they didn't have the technology for this. Whenever a character is either turning their heads, eyes are looking the wrong direction. There's a lot of that going on.
Pretty subpar animation. You can tell they put a lot of thought into the design of everything, but I found a lot of the like cityscapes and the settings and the world building like not very creative. It's the real world, but it's not. They have cars and radios and celebrities and TVs and money, but they're fish.
For fake underwater LA/New York, it felt very compressed. Like it didn't feel like this is a vast world.
Sure. I'll give it this, this isn't going to ultimately be a praise. You know, I think I mentioned before we started recording, Pat, like, it's weird. So this movie is doing, like, ugly, right? It's clearly, like, they want to go ugly, right? Not clean, not really whatever. But they don't really land on, like, kid fun ugly. It just lands on kind of very gross and very kind of smeared together type of ugly. I think that, you know, I was comparing like Despicable Me as an animated movie from a couple years later, which goes with kind of ugly kind of look and feel.
It's creatively ugly.
But it's like creatively ugly. Like the people are weird looking, everything's kind of not proportionally correct.
Like Dr. Seuss, creatively ugly sometimes.
Sure. This is just like ugly.
You know what this is, Anton? This is the same ugly problem that they had in Ants. It was just almost off-putting.
It's very off-putting, and I think it almost reaches its own level of off-putting because theoretically, like animation should have evolved by this point, but this feels like a regression.
Well, it's fish with teeth. I think that's the end of the day. I think for me, again, I do think maybe watching the DVD doesn't feel quite as bad, but I did think that the Renee Zellweger's Wedgers
I think it's pronounced Zellweger. Yeah.
Zellweger.
I'm pretty sure.
Zellweger's character, I think, was the one that actually, for me, was the hardest visually, because I just think the way that fish head worked and the eyes, and she just looked so sad all the time. And again, no, that's her. I think as an actress, they tried to capture her looking sad all the time. But
yeah.
But I think that was the one more than I think Oscar was the one that I was just like, I don't know. It just looks weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a weird thing. They just, we talked about the time capsule and all these references, and then they make a world that's like, how many New York things can we put in? How many like references to ads and stuff?
Mhm.
Like how many like Coca-Cola ad?
Coral Cola, Gup, Fish King, Old Wavy, News Reef. Yeah, I mean, it's all real, sort of clever. Did you also notice the physics are also strange in this movie? Sometimes things float, sometimes they don't. Sometimes there's gravity, sometimes there's not.
Sometimes they make a joke about the fact that it's underwater, and other times it just
the laws in this land I also don't understand. So there's sushi, and it clearly is actual fish.
Yes.
And the fish eat other fish.
But also the joke is that no one was in the sushi restaurant because, they're not going to eat other fish.
But then why is there a fish king?
What do they eat there?
Also, fish,
not whoppers?
Fish are notorious for eating other fish. It's not like sharks are the only thing that eats other fish.
A lot of fish eat other fish
all the time.
Yeah. One last Finding Nemo comparison for you. The world building. Within 10 minutes of watching that film, you realize like, oh, okay, this is the real world. Just the fish can talk. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's the only world building you need.
But here it's... I don't understand the laws and societies of this land.
It's off-putting is the word.
Mm-hmm.
There is a video game tie-in to a great era of video games. Of course, it was on the Game Boy Advance, the GameCube.
Big fan?
The minigames are actually not bad. The game actually has way better reviews than the film itself.
Okay.
That wouldn't be hard.
Fun. Oh, let's see.
There's like mini games and stuff.
Interesting.
How about that? Look at that.
Interesting.
Nathan, I know you have to go.
Yes.
Would you like to give your rating first as our guest?
Sure. Why not? Okay. So this is where we wrap up and we get to give our rating. What did we think? Did we like it? Did we not? We say, hey, is it an A? It's absolutely an A. Oh my gosh. What an A+ film. Amazing. I didn't even get to talk about how Martin Scorsese, they did 2 times. They did, whitefish wouldn't get it. The whitefish wouldn't get it joke.
Yes, there are several racially tinged jokes in this film. Good point.
2004, different world. You could do very different things in a film. No. I didn't enjoy watching this movie. I thought it wasn't very good. I don't think there's anything I have to add here during my wrap-up. I would give this movie a D for don't watch it.
You do not recommend.
I don't recommend. I don't know if I would give it an F in the sense of like it was off-putting, like it was like I couldn't watch it, or like unwatchable, like garbage or something like that. But I would not recommend this film. I wouldn't recommend it even to understand the memes. I think you can understand all the memes and enjoy the TikToks. Don't need to watch the film. Okay?
Nice.
I also do not recommend this. I wouldn't call this film an outright disaster. I've seen far, far worse animated films. I've seen far worse films just in general. I enjoyed Hans Zimmer's score. I thought that was quite pleasant. We haven't talked about that. Well, we just did. They put a lot of creativity into the world building, even as we were just discussing a few minutes ago. It didn't make a lick of sense, and it's pretty ugly. This film's pretty stinky. There's just too many things in here that don't work. Mm-hmm. Apart from Jack Black, none of the voice casts are noted for their vocal performances. That is a major knock on this film, considering the star power involved. You look at the cast on paper, you expect some great vocal performances. You don't really get any aside from Jack Black. Will Smith is our protagonist. This is, probably one of, if not the least memorable Will Smith performances ever, except for that one that Anton brought up earlier, whose name I can't even think of again. Oscar is a terrible protagonist. He and the tone are probably the biggest problems with this film. I didn't say this earlier. I was actively rooting for Oscar to be eaten. at one point. I was hoping, like, someone please just eat him. The animation is showing its age. Most of the characters fall into the uncanny valley with the way they're animated. It is colorful, but it is an ugly film. I said this before, just because it's a children's film doesn't mean it has to be stupid. Comparing this to Shrek 2, the other DreamWorks picture of 2004, doesn't hold a candle to it. If that was DreamWorks A game, this is the minor league. The worst thing I can say about this film, Anton, if it was not for the big names involved in the voice cast, I would just assume this is direct-to-video. This really looks like a direct-to-video film. Its reputation is deserved. Apparently, TikTok memes aside, this doesn't really have a legacy. I'm not going to fail it because I don't think there's anything offensively bad in it. I just found it like pretty stupid and pretty boring. It's frequently listed as one of DreamWorks' lesser efforts, and I think that's exactly what it is. I'm right there with you, Nathan. This is a D. It's a bad movie, but not offensively so.
My sister had a baby, and I took it over, and she passed away, and the baby lost all its legs and arms, and now it's all just a stump. But I take care of it with my wife, and it's growing, and it's fairly happy and difficult because I'm working on its second shift at the factory to put food on the table. But all the love that I see in that little guy's face, it makes it worth it in the end. True story.
This gets a D-.
I love it. That's it. Drop mic.
That's all you have to say.
That's all we need.
Anything else to add? Or that's it.
That's it. You both said everything that we need. We don't need any more on Shark Tale. We've jumped the shark on this one. Okay.
Well then. Yeah, there's nothing else to add there. Nathan, always a pleasure having you on. I am genuinely sorry I shanghaied you into watching this.
I am okay with having seen it once in my life.
Okay.
Let me say that.
Oh,
I'm
right.
okay with that.
I feel a little bit better now.
Don't worry, Pat. We'll make up for it. We will make up for it, especially when I can take Nathan to the Universal City Walk, and we'll go to Margaritaville together.
Yeah, where they have a lot of Shark Tale memorabilia. And
if we find any Shark Tale memorabilia, who knows?
I'm sure they'll have at least one reference to it, right? Coral Cola or something? No. Nathan's like, no way. No
Try to bury it.
Let's be real. Disneyland can't even keep up with can't even do references to everything in their own park. Do you think Universal Studios is gonna?
I don't know. Maybe
that's true because
maybe you underestimate Universal Studios.
Maybe I underestimate what they have access to and are willing to include inside of their park.
Yeah. Do they still
overestimate, actually?
Do they still have Doc Brown's fried chicken? If they have that, then we're set.
Ooh, that sounds pretty good.
That's just slapping a name on something, right? Because does he eat chicken in the movies? No.
Yeah, it's just, I don't think he does, but I think it's just Doc Brown's fried chicken and Doc Brown's on the front.
Fair enough. Hey. Well, that is it for Shark Tale. And that is it for this edition of Why Wasn't It Better? Thanks for listening, and see you next time.